What's up, everybody? It's your boy Walt. Super quick intro before we get into the compilation. If you want to skip it, timecode is on the screen. But for this particular compilation, I feel it's important to establish some rules so there's no confusion. So, to qualify for this list, you must either be the biological mother or father of the character in question, or be a parental figure, which means they fulfill a significant motherly or fatherly role in said character's life. Now, the parental figures of these characters can be subjective, but I just think of it this way. Perception is everything. If a main character perceives a certain character as a prominent parental figure, even if the character in question doesn't act like a parent, it will still count. The best example I can give is Garon. As while he does not act like a father to Corrin in any way, shape, or form, it will still count because from Corrin's perspective in all three routes, that is their father. The death must be 100% kill confirmed. There can't be any uncertainty on whether the parent in question died or not. There's going to be one exception later in the video, but that death is like 99.9999999% confirmed, so I'm gonna count it. Unnamed parents will count. Parents who are non-canon will count as long as the death is kill confirmed. For example, regardless of who Lucina's mom is, she definitely died. Whereas with Roy's mom, I do not believe every single one of Eliwood's potential pairings is dead by Fe6. And even if they are, I couldn't find enough evidence in Fe6 to confirm that. If I'm wrong, Alibian lore experts, it's your time to shine. The death is allowed to happen off screen and just be mentioned by another character. However, if the death happens or is mentioned outside of the games, such as in an OVA, in manga, drama CDs, or something that has Fire Emblem characters but nothing to do with Fire Emblem, it will not count. As much as I want to include Cornelius' cheesy-ass death from the OVA, it's just opening a wormhole and I'd have to read all the manga, listen to all the drama CDs, etc. And this is relevant because I do know Alm's mother is mentioned in some drama CD or something, so like I said, I'm not jumping down that wormhole. No way. Speaking of the games, I decided to be more ambitious with this one, and I'm going to include every Fire Emblem game, including the spin-offs. The only one not on here is Tokyo Mirage Sessions, not because I don't consider it as part of the series, but more because I do not believe Itsuki or Tsubasa's parents are even mentioned in that game. For games that share universes, such as with Jogdraw and Tellius, I'm going to show the death or the mentioning of the death in both games. For example, Fe9 has Greil's death, and Fe10 characters mention Greil's death, so I would show the scene in Fe9 as well as the mentioning of his death in Fe10. However, if a main character's parent's death occurs or is mentioned in a universe that is not their own, it will not count. To clarify, I am counting it if the death took place in an alternate timeline, even in an alternate dimension, as long as the timelines and dimensions in question share the same universe. So for both Fates and Three Houses, this means all route splits will count, and any DLC where completely different things happen will also count. The way I see it, while the route splits and Fates may create completely different timelines, they are all still contained in the universe of Fates, and same applies with Three Houses. What won't count is, for instance, if Lucina mentions Crom's death in Fates, or if any of the Engage emblems mention their dead parents in some random Bond conversation, or there's some random Heroes quote. It will not count as the death/mentioning of the death did not occur in the universe the original main character in question came from. Speaking of route splits, for games that have multiple routes like Fates and Three Houses, I will show the parent in question's death on each route. For the remakes, I will show the original scene in its remade form, but I'll also add on one or two additional scenes that's unique to that remake just to spice things up. For example, with Gaiden, I'll show the initial part where King Lima IV's death is mentioned, and then in Echoes, I'll show that same part remade, as well as an additional scene that's unique to Echoes. Here are all the characters I consider to be main characters in each game. If you want to pause here to read all of them, feel free to do so. Now, the one elephant in the room is Micaiah. We know who her grandmother is, but I couldn't find anything regarding her parents. The closest thing I found to anything was in Path of Radiance. Sonaki mentions her parents don't have much time left, and Sonaki is Micaiah's sister. But even by Radiant Dawn, which only takes place 3 years after Path of Radiance, we cannot conclude they are dead by then, and we're already stretching it. Maybe I'm wrong and there is something, but I couldn't find anything. So Tellius lore experts, if I'm wrong, it's your time to shine. I'm not going to include every single mention of a main character's parent's death. That would be insane. So in terms of the clips shown and the length of each clip, I just did whatever I felt fit best. I'll do a quick clip show at the very end of the video of what clips were not chosen. Certain deaths are going to be shown through multiple clips, as the death doesn't just happen in one scene, but progresses throughout multiple scenes. For the text scrolling, I did try and scroll at a reasonable pace. There will be times though where there's a dramatic pause, where the parent in question's death is mentioned, just to give some time to stew in the tragedy. This video also turned out way longer than I thought, so every parent in question is time-coded in the description if you want to skip around. If there's anything additional regarding a certain parent I want to mention, this little text box will pop up on the screen briefly. Finally, I tried to be as thorough as possible, but if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. Enough talk, on to the compilation.
Father, what's going on? Where are you?
Father! Mike! Stay back!
Here. Use this blade.
What are you doing?
I've been waiting for this for a long time. I would prefer it if you use your proper weapon, so that I might see you at your full strength. General Gawain, Rider of Dayan.
That was my name. Once. But I threw it away. The only weapon I need is right here.
Do you want to die?
Your voice. I remember you. Think you can defeat me? The man who taught you how to fight? What a fool. Come on, boy. Come try me.
Is that all there is? No challenge? No resistance?
Father! Don't leave. Don't leave me! Father!
What happened here?
We have arrived too late.
General Gawain! General! Oh, thank the goddess, he's still alive. But... oh no. Oh, what has he done? Elena. Did he kill her?
It must have been the medallion. He touched it, and the chaos bound within sent him into a rage beyond reason.
Ike, wait for me! Ah! Father! Mother!
The General's children.
What's wrong with them? Are they asleep? Father! Mother!
They are very tired, child. Let's not disturb them.
We can't leave them sleeping here. It's cold out. We have to take them home. Ike, you have to help me. Ike?
I'll take them home. Will you show me the way?
Yeah, come with me.
May your final slumber be a peaceful one. It appears the medallion was too much for Lord Ashnard.
Hey!
No, child. You mustn't touch it.
We can't let it get lost. I'll keep it.
You are unchanged.
You said you'd take my mother home, too.
Yes, of course.
Ike, what's wrong? Why are you just standing there? Are you hurt?
You saw everything, didn't you? Poor child.
Ike? Ike, what's wrong? Ouch! Ike, that hurt! Let go!
What happened?
Give me a moment. Sweet children, sleep now. Rest.
What did you do to him?
Merely helped him to forget. I could not leave this memory to haunt him. It is too heavy a burden for one so young.
What will you do with the medallion?
The girl seems safe from its influence. We will leave it with her for the time being.
Crom? Listen.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
No.
Yes. Right.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Oh. You have my gratitude. No. Mother. Mother.
Whoa. Listen.
I'm so sorry. Huh? Yes.
Oh.
But don't you see?
No.
Yes.
Listen. You all right? Oh. Good. Yes. What? What? Ah, yes. No. Yes. This isn't over! Damn you both! You alright? That's the end of him. Thanks to you, we carried the day. We can rest easy now.
At long last. What's wrong? Hey,
This is not your fault. Promise me you'll escape from this place. Please, go. What have you?
Ah. You were not hurt. Tell me you're okay.
I'm fine.
I'm so glad.
Mother!
You there! Show yourself!
Fire at will. I'm disappointed in you, Sumeragi. That wasn't even my best trap. You poor thing. Orphaned at such a tender young age. You are my child now.
Listen.
No. Yeah?
I see.
Azura.
I see.
It can't be.
No.
Huh?
Truly.
No.
Ah.
Azura.
Listen.
Yeah? We need to
This ends now!
Azura.
Huh?
Come closer, Azura.
Mother.
Soon.
Unbelievable. I don't know.
Azura.
I see. Mother. Thank you. No.
Oh.
Huh?
I'm so proud of you. Oh my.
Let us begin. Just in the nick of time. Everything's okay.
I make my own things.
I am so very sorry.
No.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm so happy to see you again.
I am so happy.
Thank you.
Oh.
Huh?
No. Please, listen. Yes. Oh. Go on.
Please.
Huh.
Just in the nick of time.
No! What a shame. You've grown so strong.
How could this be?
Move!
Oh!
Father?
I'm sorry.
No. Yes.
I see.
Show no mercy. I won't surrender!
This can't be.
You have my
This can't be. Contemptible vermin.
No!
No. Impossible.
What?
We all die eventually.
This ends now! Victory is ours! Woo! I'm so happy. Glad that's over with.
You fought bravely. Well.
Azura! Thank you! Yes.
Must I do everything?
What a shame. I'm sorry.
Got this handled. Down, coming.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so very sorry.
Huh? Ah!
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Be safe, my child.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, hey!
Let's take him out!
Thank you! Sorry. Yeah.
Hey!
You'll be all right.
Come on.
Thank you. I believe in you.
This ends here.
All right.
to the fray.
Good day. You must be Sir Myson's grandson. Alm, was it? My name is Lucas. I fight for the Deliverance.
The Deliverance? What's that? Aren't you one of the Knights of Zofia? The King's Knights?
Oh, I see. I suppose that means word hasn't yet reached your village. In that case, please forgive me for heralding such dark news, but King Lima IV is dead. He met his end some days ago at the hands of Chancellor Desai.
What? You're saying it was regicide?
I fear so. It seems Desai sold Zofia to the Regalian Empire, along with his soul. No doubt they promised him lands, perhaps even a title. Upon Lima's death, the Chancellor and the Regalian army seized Zofia Castle and began to visit unspeakable injustices upon the king's people. Sir Clive, of the Knights of Zofia you mentioned, would have none of it. He formed an army to free us from Regal and named it the Deliverance. However, we are outmatched and fast losing this war. We need a hero's aid. And so, I have come to the home of one of Zofia's greatest heroes, Sir Myson. Do you see, Alm? Sir Clive would not have sent me were it not urgent. Will you take me to see your grandfather?
Yes, of course. Good goblets. I knew Zofia was in hot water, but is this guy serious? So there's going to be a war?
There already is one from the sound of things.
But that's awful. If Sir Myson rides off to war, what'll happen to Alm?
You got me.
The troops are in position, Sir Slade.
Good. Chancellor Desai needs to learn to finish what he starts. Oh, he managed to put King Lima to the sword, which is well and good. But then he suffers one minor defeat and flees to his fortress? I still can't fathom how 500 knights managed to rout an army of 3,000. But they're knights no more. This Deliverance. They're no better than a pack of rebels, and soon-to-be dead ones at that. Let the artless fools cry for justice all they want. All the powerful houses have already pledged their banners to the Chancellor. The Kingdom of Zofia is as good as his. And this time, we've brought a siege army thrice as strong. Let's see those rats hold the castle walls against 10,000 men. It's only a matter of time now before their defenses buckle.
Clive.
Lucas, were you able to confirm it?
Sadly, it is true. He's actually gone and done it.
Disgusting. I did not want to believe Desai had it in him. All the more reason to put an end to his machinations here. This may be our final chance of holding on to Zofia and building her anew. And if we must sully our
Clive! There you are! I'm trying to figure out which station I am to be posted at, but everyone just... am I interrupting something?
It's all right. We're finished here.
Thank you, Lucas.
Of course. I know what to do.
Clive, what is it? You look pale as a newly washed sheet. Has something happened?
Nothing you need trouble yourself with, dear sister. Come, I'll accompany you to your post.
Gods, look at those numbers! I've never seen so many soldiers in one place.
And I guess it's true. All the powerful houses have sworn allegiance to Desai's camp. The damn cowards wouldn't even have noble titles without the king. And now they lick the boots of his murderer? Fie on them all!
I know what you're trying to say, but Lima wasn't exactly the best king. He spent his days stuffing his face and womanizing while his people starved. So raise your hand if you weren't at least sort of thinking good riddance. Hell, the nobles were just as happy to see him go as the starving commoners.
Please, don't ever say that in front of Sir Clive. Nothing excuses what they've done. Desai and his sycophants have plunged Zofia into chaos.
You sure about that? Some would say it's the Deliverance what's plunging Zofia into chaos. We're the ones who chose to drag this war out, after all. Common folk don't give a whit which noble cheeks plop down on the throne. They just want to put bread on the table and continue drawing breath. How do you know they don't want us to lay down arms and let things be?
Python!
I'm just putting it out there. We'd be fools not to at least consider it. Be that as it may, they've a disgusting number of soldiers out there. Not even the castle walls will keep us safe forever.
Forsyth, Python, a moment if I may.
Sir Lucas? What's the matter? This isn't your post.
Let's just say I have a problem that's weighing on my mind. And I'm thinking that the two of you might be able to help me with it.
Do go on.
I owe you thanks beyond measure for saving me. My name is Irma, and I serve at the Temple of Milla. Or did, I suppose. In truth, this place has been my only home for many a long year. I fear greatly what may have transpired at the temple.
So you're an attendant to Milla. Interesting. We're actually making our way to the temple right now.
Is that so? Then, might I ask... by the mother, are you... No, you couldn't be.
I'm sorry?
Forgive me. It's just that you bear a striking resemblance to Lady Liprica.
Liprica? That's my mother's name.
Then it's true. You're her. You're Princess Antise. Milla be praised. You're alive.
Are you saying you know my mother? Please, you must tell me anything you can about her. I never had a chance to know her, you see.
It would be an honor, Your Highness. Where shall I begin? Like myself, Lady Liprica was a sister in the service of Mother Milla. But all that ended once King Lima's royal procession arrived at the temple. Lady Liprica's beauty caught his eye, and she was stolen away in the night. He took her to his castle and forced her to join his seraglio of countless brides. Despite the luxury, I expect life in the castle proved most difficult for her. She soon took ill, and left this world shortly after bearing Your Highness.
Mother...
I'm so very sorry, Princess Antise, but I would implore you to spare your tears. Lady Liprica thought only of your health and happiness until her final breath. Lady Liprica also left something for you, Your Highness.
For me?
Aye, milady. It is a circlet that proves your royal standing. She asked that it be given to you once you were of age.
A circlet? You can't mean the royal crown. Surely my mother had cause to hate the monarchy above all else.
I fear I know not what her intentions were, milady. Nor have I the means of asking now. But, Your Highness, I know a time will come when your mother's heart grows clear to you. The circlet is stored in the temple vault. I shall make my way there now. I must tell everyone that Her Highness Antise has returned to us. I will await your arrival at the temple. May Milla's blessing be upon you always. a mother walks with me.
All right, let's go. I feel light on my feet today. What's going on? Why won't you attack? What are you planning, Rudolf? I'll get this done.
This is as it should be. You've done well. I'm proud of you, my son.
What?
I knew I was right to entrust you to my dearest friend.
Your friend? You mean... my son? What's going on here? What are you saying?
I thought you'd have realized by now your true name. Your true name is Allmine Olm Rudolf. You are my one and only son.
What? That can't be true. You're lying. Why should I believe a word you say?
Be still, Olm. I haven't time left to explain. But I beg you to grant me one final favor.
You want a favor from me?
Take the divine fortune that sealed Milla's strength. Duma has become a thing of mindless evil. Use the blade and destroy him. Please, my son. You must.
No, wait! Emperor Rudolf! Were you truly my father? Then I've just... Oh, gods! What have I done?
So you've come, Olm.
Grandfather, what the hell is going on? What are you doing here? Rudolf said I was his son. And now all these people are calling me a prince.
It's only natural that you're feeling confused. But there is no denying fact. You are the only son of Emperor Rudolf, scion of the Regalian imperial bloodline, and true heir to Regel's throne.
How could you? You knew all this time. And yet you kept it from me. You knew. And you still sent me off to kill my own father!
Please remain calm, Olm. Let me explain. Best I start at the very beginning. As you well know, Valentia has always been divided north from south, split between the two gods, Milla and Duma. But their involvement with mankind eventually grew too deep. When madness takes a god, man is lost. And where gods meet ruin, men die too. That is the plight Valentia now faces.
You're saying the gods are... dying?
I fear so. Rudolf was among the first to understand the signs. He saw Duma's growing madness and knew it for a harbinger of ruin. But then you were born, Olm.
What does that have to do with any of this?
You bore the brand.
sign of the hero who would rise to save Valentia. Hearing that prophecy, Rudolf knew you must be kept hidden from the faithful. He concealed the news of your birth and entrusted you to me and Sophia. I will never forget the pain on his face when he placed you in my arms. That day marked a change in him. He donned the mantle of one who would destroy the old world order, one who'd free men to live by their own power, even if they hated him for it. He knew such heresy would bring forth those who wished for his death. So for that death to come at the hand of his beloved son was a mercy. He told me himself that he could imagine no more peaceful end.
And what of my peace?
This is not the time for mourning or self-pity, boy. Rudolph's purpose now falls to you. The true foe you must defeat is Duma, as well as the zealots tainted by his madness, who seek control of Valentia. Jeddah and his Duma faithful. If you do not hurry, Celica's life will also be in peril.
Oh gods! Celica! She set out in search of Duma in order to save Milla.
A passage beneath this castle leads to the Temple of Duma. Go, Alm. Go and finish this. Return the mad god Duma to the darkness from whence he came.
No way am I sitting on the throne. Let Lyanna take it instead. I'm gonna be Aetolus's most powerful knight.
Well, I don't want it either. You could be a knight and a king.
You know I don't want to be both.
I'm not taking the crown.
And again with the bickering. You two stand at the cusp of adulthood. What would he think of it if your father saw you acting like this?
Prince Darius of Gristone has arrived.
Darius is here? All right!
Hey, wait! Rowan! No sparring today! He already promised he'd help me with my studies. Are you listening?
Such exertion for a simple move.
Gods!
Oh-ho! You still have much to learn. Attack with confidence!
Xander, you're too strong. I can't land a single blow. What's your secret?
There is no secret. Only years upon years of hard training. If you wish to reach this level, you must never give up.
So, there's hope? You think one day I could be your equal?
Of course. With the right guidance, you could surpass me. But it will not be easy.
Oh, you're kidding! I mean, I find your support encouraging.
Tell me, what is it that motivates you? Why do you crave strength and power?
So I can protect the people I love.
That is a noble aim. But what of your lineage? You will be king, will you not?
Not a chance. If my father taught me anything, it's that kings are weak. I won't end up like him, that's for sure. My sister may take the crown for all I care. I'm focused on the sword.
Are you so sure about your father?
Of course I am. I've been told that he was often sick and could barely fight.
Ah, but have you considered that fighting is not the only way to wield power? Faith, conviction, and intelligence will always win over brute strength.
I don't understand.
When I imagine your father, I think of the villagers and people who followed him. Why do you think they followed him? If he was so feeble physically?
I don't care. If I don't have the strength to protect everyone, I'm nothing. Forgive me. I understand your point. But I can't look up to my father.
One should not speak of one's own father that way. I suggest you learn from his wisdom while cultivating the strength you crave. After all, there are kings both mighty and wise. Like my own father, King Garon.
So, your father is both a fearsome warrior and a wise leader?
Yes, he isn't perfect, but he has no lack of strength or conviction. That is why I am devoted to it, no matter what. I apologize. This is not about me. This is about your path to the throne. You would be wise to expand your goals beyond mere physical strength.
Yes, you're probably right.
With that said, this lesson is not over. Come and get me!
All right, put your guard up. I intend to actually land a blow this time.
Hey, I
wanted to ask you to join me, but I couldn't find you. So, here I am. I was thinking we should visit your mother. She's resting beneath this humble grave. Oh, of course you would ask that. I wouldn't know where to begin. I suppose I haven't talked much about her. She was gentle and smart. Oh, so smart. A wonderful cook. Always kind to everyone. And she loved flowers. Whenever I brought her back an unusual flower, her face would light up. I cherish those memories. I can't count how many times she made me happy just by smiling. And she smiled the most when she was pregnant with you. She died right after you were born. She wasn't able to spend much time with you. But she loved you with all her heart. That's the truest thing I know. Never forget it. This ring is the only keepsake I have of her. In time, it will be yours. One day, I hope you'll give this ring to someone you love as well as I love her. Run along now.
Thanks for all your help, sir. You're just a pathetic old man. How dare you get in the way of my brilliant plan, dog?
Run along now.
Thanks for all your help, sir. Huh? What are you doing here?
You must survive, merely because there is still a role that I require you to fulfill.
Sorry. It looks like I'm going to have to leave you now. To think that the first time I saw you cry, your tears would be for me. It's sad, and yet I'm happy for it. Thank you, kid.
Father, forgive me for asking this of you. I know how much pain you're in, how the burden of the throne weighs heavily on you. And so...
There is no need to apologize, Edelgard. You must know that I do not have much time left in this world. The time has come.
Thank you, Father. Now, to complete the Imperial succession, you must relinquish your crown here in the throne room. The Archbishop of the Church of Seros would normally act as witness, but my professor will fill that role instead.
Edelgard.
From this day forward, the weight of the Empire's future shall rest upon my shoulders. All that I do will be for the benefit of the people of Fodlan.
Edelgard von Hesvelg, the crown is yours. By the covenant between the red blood and the white sword, and by the double-headed eagle upon your head, I hereby pronounce you the new Emperor. Are you prepared to take those responsibilities as your own?
In accordance with the ancient covenant, and in keeping with the Hraesvelg legacy, I swear that upon this throne, I shall use my reign to lead Fodlan to a new dawn and achieve peace for all.
The Imperial succession is complete. My daughter, I regret that I could not do more for you. When you were stolen away to the kingdom, when the Prime Minister did those horrible things, I could only watch in horror.
I understand, Father. In those dark times, your eyes and your fists were my salvation. Within your eyes, I saw true care. And upon your fists, clenched tight with indignity, I saw the blood that dripped and fell. Even as I bled, I felt that you too must also be bleeding.
Your Majesty, you must not leave your sleeping chambers in your condition. Ah, Edelgard. I did not expect to find your Highness here.
Prime Minister, you have misspoken. I am no longer your Highness, but rather your Majesty.
Impossible!
It is true. Edelgard is the new Emperor of the Adrastian Empire. We will summon the officials and prepare an ordinance at once. And you, Prime Minister,
are dismissed. It will be some time before you are allowed to make contact with the outside world again.
No! How can this be? Understood, Your Majesty.
Edelgard, my dear El, I leave the fate of Fodlan in your capable hands.
Father.
It is Imperial Year 1185. Half a decade has passed since Emperor Edelgard ascended the Imperial throne, yet the continent of Fodlan still remains lost in a tempest of turmoil and bloodshed. In the Holy Kingdom of Fargus...
Professor, I'm sorry you saw that side of me in the village. It must have been quite a shock to you and the others. I'm mortified by my behavior. When I saw the chaos and violence there, my mind just went completely dark. I see. So that happens to you as well, then. I've told you before that someday we may find ourselves facing something we simply cannot accept. That's what the chaos in Ramire village was to me. Solon and the Flame Emperor are both beasts who must be eliminated. Demons who kill the innocent. They aren't even human at this point. And you believed him? He doesn't deserve our forgiveness. He became an accomplice when he refused to turn himself in and return with us to the monastery. You see, Professor, I saw the same flames of torment just 4 years ago. In Dusker.
Please, have mercy! The pain! Make the burning stop! Help me! Somebody!
Avenge us! Those who killed us! Tear them apart! Destroy them all! My father, my stepmother, 4 years ago, they lost their lives to those flames. I'll never forget. I still remember their faces, their screams, the tortured last moments of every person who died that day. But right now, all that matters is that we do whatever we can to help the surviving villagers get back to their normal lives. Thank you for everything. There's a reason that I came to the Officers' Academy. Just one reason. I came here for revenge. And one day, I will have it.
been a long time, hasn't it, Your Highness? You've grown awfully strong.
Oh, shameless. I bet it was you who killed my uncle and set me up. Am I right?
Too true. I'd already forgotten about all that loveliness.
I'll kill you, you monster. You will pay for all that you have done.
So this is as far as I could get.
With this strength, I can...
Well, so be it. Still, I'll give you a little gift.
It's over, Cornelia. If you have any last words, now is the time.
Right you are. Very well. I have an old tale that I would like you to hear, if I may. About something that happened 10 years ago. Something Patricia said about how she wished to see her real daughter again, no matter who or what she had to sacrifice to do so. And about how I made her wish come true, at the cost of the king's head.
The king's head? You mean Dusker? You monster! You mean to say that my father, everyone, was killed by my stepmother?
That's right. Her family meant everything to her. You certainly know that feeling, do you not? Oh, poor little prince. Unloved by the only mother he ever knew. How pitiful.
How dare you!
There's nothing left for you now. Nothing but despair.
There's quite a bit of fog settling in. We won't be able to advance our troops very far in this.
We won't be able to move at all until the fog lifts. No matter which path we take, we'll have to be patient and wait it out. Gilbert? No? Gustav? I would like to take this opportunity to speak with you about something. It's about the tragedy of Dusker. There's something about it I just can't wrap my head around.
I'm listening.
I lost a son in Dusker that day. I exhausted every last resource I had to investigate what took place there. I was startled to find that there wasn't a single shred of evidence to suggest that Lady Patricia's carriage had been attacked.
Go on.
Apart from His Highness, whose injuries left him on the verge of death, everyone else present at the time was slaughtered. Of all the victims, only the corpse of Lady Patricia, His Majesty's second wife, was never found. Isn't that right?
Surely that means she was abducted. There was no evidence of an attack, suggesting they threatened her, but did not kill her.
But what reason would they have to take her? Would it not have been better to kill her?
Perhaps she had some value as a diplomatic pawn.
Nonsense. In the many years since that day, has Lady Patricia ever been used thus?
No, not as far as I know. Then perhaps she was used for some political gain within the Empire.
Now that her daughter is the Emperor, what reason would she have to keep hiding her existence?
It is possible she passed away after returning to the Empire.
Gustav, I know this is hard for you to hear, but just consider what it would mean if Lady Patricia was involved with that incident.
Silence, Rodrigue. I will not allow you to tarnish her memory like that.
I do not mean to imply that she arranged His Majesty's murder or anything of the like. But Gustav, I cannot shake the feeling that the tragedy was part of a much larger conspiracy. There is more to it than we know. That much is certain.
Rodrigue! Gilbert! Please hurry! I cannot overlook your reckless remarks. Are you really so keen to lose your head?
I only did what I believed was right. I swear to the goddess that I'm not lying. Amidst the turmoil of the tragedy, Lady Patricia was supposed to be the only one who was unharmed. We had been given orders ahead of time to not approach her carriage.
Of course not. What would my stepmother have had to gain from such a...
Perhaps Lady Patricia would have done anything to return to the Empire, to her husband and daughter.
What exactly are you implying?
For the past few months, I've been spying on lords who defected to the Empire in order to investigate rumors about Lady Patricia. Cornelius' words were true. The two of them, I am afraid they conspired together after all.
Enough of this nonsense! You say she wished to return home? That isn't nearly enough reason to cause such a tragedy.
I do not intend to imply that the two of them were solely responsible for the whole affair. There were likely nobles who opposed the king, or potentially someone who wanted to throw the kingdom into chaos. The Empire, and people like Solon and Kranya had their motives too.
So my stepmother joined with them to cause the tragedy. Is that what you believe?
Ultimately, this is just conjecture based on the evidence at hand. I have no idea what their true intentions were.
I see. We will hear what this man has to say. For now.
My lord had long felt that King Lambert's radical ways were dangerous. At the time he was approached with an offer to take part in the incident at Dusker. My lord loves his homeland. To me, he embodied justice. We were only doing what we thought was right.
And so, in the name of justice, he caused massacre upon massacre out of love for his homeland. You murdered your own king, killed our soldiers, and involved innocent citizens. And yet you have the gall to speak of justice!
I am only standing before you now, because I could no longer bear the weight of my sins. No. I accept your hatred, and even the punishment of death. But I still believe it was a massacre in the name of justice.
Gilbert, lock this man in his cell.
Are you not going to kill him?
I will make that decision once I have had time to consider this man's definition of justice.
Yes, Your Highness.
I am the King's shield, devoted to protecting the kingdom, as well as the King's lands, who kills his foes. In the name of House Fraldarius, I will defeat you all!
There are many ways to fight.
So this is it. Your Majesty, please bring us victory.
Father, I will fight in your stead.
It has been a lifetime, hasn't it, Professor? Yes, I thought so too. I wanted to slice her throat, but I did not get the chance. I let people die, and yet I still stand. Rodrigue, Gustav, Dedu. You sound just like Rodrigue. A way to absolve my sins. Everyone gives such complicated advice, and I can never quite grasp it all. That is why, Professor, I came here to explain my decision. I have no resources to take back the kingdom capital, much less to defeat the Empire. And that is why...
Oh, have I caught you off guard, Your Highness? Aww, does it hurt? I bet it hurts real bad, doesn't it? But it's nothing compared to what my brother felt. You will never be forgiven, you know. I will never forgive you!
You must be...
You filthy monster! It's time to die!
Dimitri! Professor! Do it now!
Brother, help me.
Rodrigue!
Your Highness, are you safe? Please tell me it wasn't in vain.
This punishment, it was mine to bear.
There are no sins or punishments on the battlefield.
No! Don't die! Please don't die! Father, stepmother, Glenn, they all died and left me behind. Rodrigue, are you to join the ghosts who shadow my every move? This is my fault. I'm the one who killed you, as surely as though I had wielded the blade.
Your Highness, you have one thing terribly wrong. None of them, none of us, died for you. I'm dying for what I believe in, just as they did. Your life is your own. It belongs to no other, living or dead. Live for what you believe in. Dimitri, my boy, you really do look just like His Majesty.
What are you saying, Lambert?
I am heading to Dusker, and before you start, nothing you could say would change my mind. You worry too much, my friend. So far, relations with Dusker have been going smoothly, wouldn't you say? You, of all people, should appreciate how critical these negotiations are.
Of course I do, but for the king himself to make the journey, you must admit that it's dangerous. And His Highness is still so young. If the worst should happen...
Even if the worst should happen, he would be okay. He's a smart boy, Rodrigue. Even if he should lose his father, I have no doubt that he will grow to be a good and respectable man.
Lambert.
However, if he ever starts down the wrong path, and I am not here to set him straight, I am trusting you to do so in my stead, old friend. Promise me.
Lambert, my promise.
Oh, Yuri, you're back? I thought you'd still be away.
Well, look who it is. I figured if I didn't come back before sunset, someone might get worried and ransack my room again.
I wasn't ransacking. You're gonna keep holding that over my head, aren't you?
Just joking, friend. No need to take everything so seriously. Anyway, it's late. Shouldn't you be getting some shut-eye?
Probably, but I just got my second wind. How was your mom, by the way?
Well, it's not looking good, that's for sure. But she's still got some fight in her yet. I'd planned on staying longer, but she told me to do what I had to do and sent me on my way. One minute she wants to see me, the next she's telling me to go home. Honestly, she's all over the place.
Reminds me of my mom. The one who raised me, anyway.
She passed away, didn't she? Judging by your expression, she must have been pretty special.
She was. More than I can say. She took me in when I'd been abandoned. Taught me how to live. We weren't blood related, but she was my mom. No doubt about it.
I'm sure wherever she is now, she's very happy to hear you say that.
Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to ask you something. It's been on my mind for a while now. About your real name. Your mom gave it to you, right? Where does it come from? I've never heard anything like it before.
Look up. No, a little more to the left. See that bright star over there?
Bright star. To the left? Which one? There are thousands of stars up there, and they're all bright.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you find it or not. Anyway, it's that star's ancient name. The white star that the goddess herself made into a disciple. My mother is a devout follower of Seros, but I know it's a pretty ostentatious name for a penniless kid.
I don't think so. It just shows how much you mean to her.
Yeah. Well, I do like it. She gave it to me after all. I'm not sure how much of the scriptures she really understands. But knowing her, I'm certain she put a lot of consideration into my name.
Then doesn't it seem like kind of a waste not to use it? What with how much thought she put into it?
I've used many names, and each one comes with its own mask. But when I hear my real name, all those facades fall away. The only people who can call me that are those who are truly special to me. Immediate family, or someone just as important. Which means that if you're so intent on using my name, you'd better be willing to spend the rest of your life by my side.
What are you even talking about, Yuri? That's all a bit much, don't you think?
Obviously. To be honest, I would have been at a loss if you had said you were all for it. Regardless, it does make me happy to hear that you like my name. And if you ever decide you're up for it, let me know, okay? I'll think it over too, just in case.
La 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 la. La 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 la. How was that? Yeah, good.
Still the same reaction, huh?
Sorry, me and singing just don't mix very well. Though, it did make me feel warm inside. Kinda like I was a kid again, with my mom.
Hey, you do get it! That was a lullaby from a long, long time ago. Nowadays, nobody remembers the lyrics, though. Or sings it to their children, for that matter.
A lullaby, huh? I guess that's why it took me back the way it did. But wait, if nobody knows the words, how are you so sure that's even what it is? Just from how it sounds?
Well, there was this scholar who researched it a few years ago and said as much. Couldn't tell you if they were right, though.
Huh. Honestly, I kinda like that it didn't have any words. That way it can hit you straight in the heart without all that lyrics and meaning stuff getting in the way.
I'm glad to hear you giving music a little more thought now.
And I'm glad I've had so many chances to listen to you sing. Your voice touches people, Dorothea, even if they don't have the knowledge to really appreciate the high-level art of it. I mean, look at me! Bottom of the barrel, and you still practically move me to tears.
Oh, come now, don't talk about yourself like that.
It doesn't really bother me. And I'm not wrong, am I? No birth parents, no real background to speak of. The whole wandering merc gig, it is what it is.
That's quite the positive attitude. I'll have to try a little bit of that myself sometime. In the meantime, I've once again been able to rethink my singing thanks to you. I lost much of my emotion about the craft during my time as a diva, but I can feel it coming back now.
You really are incredible, you know that?
How do you mean?
I don't know, there's just something beautiful about the way you speak. It's like your thoughts just come out of your mouth fully formed, almost perfect, then find their way straight into people's hearts. Probably has something to do with all the training you did to become a diva, and all the training you've continued doing since. Meanwhile, here I am struggling to even make proper sentences when I try to talk about your singing.
Thank you for the kind words. It makes me feel a lot better hearing you say those things about me. But for the record, I don't think you're bad with words at all. Even your little speech now was the definition of smooth. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were trying to flirt with me.
It is the end of 1181. 2 years have passed since the Officers' Academy closed its doors. Having ascended the throne of Adrestia, Edelgard has begun to enact sweeping change. The Holy Kingdom of Fargus now calls Dimitri its king.
The Duke has stamped out most of the troops who invaded Fraldarius. As things stand, a clash on royal soil and eventually within the capital is inevitable. As you are the only blood kin I have, my lord, I pray we might find a way to resolve this conflict peacefully. Bah, what rubbish. He sings of conciliation, but I know a threat when I read it.
Shouldn't you take better care of a letter from your dear nephew, my lord?
He's not expecting a reply. The creature means to slay me.
Your fear of Prince Dimitri runs deeper than I thought. You shouldn't have missed your chance 4 years ago in Dusker, or 2 years ago during the suppression of the rebellion. That's twice you failed to kill him.
I've learned my lesson. A lion's cub is still a lion, and one cannot slay a lion with a clumsy scheme. It's those monstrous eyes, Cornelia. They terrify me. The boy is a vicious animal, yet he attempts to feign actual grief that we can't find common ground. The aberrance of it shakes me to my core.
I understand completely.
Every night since I killed my brother, I dream a lion is ripping out my throat.
You'll run yourself ragged if you live your days in fear of revenge. You were meant to rule Fargus, and you have the power to make it so. Your royal army is the finest in the realm, and if I may be so bold, you also have me. Put your worries to rest, my king. Sleep deeply and without fear.
I'm so utterly tired. Tired of being afraid. Tired of what I've become. All of it.
It seems you are the victor in this fight. I bid you farewell.
No escape! Indeed, this moment will be the doom of you both.
Thomas.
Dear Edelgard, it has been far too long.
Is it so? Have you really found an ally in Dimitri?
What lie is this?
So you are not allies? That makes more sense. I can't imagine you joining forces with the man who killed your father.
If what you say is the truth, if this man murdered my father, then you and I have much to talk about. Till then, nobody lays a hand on you.
Is that?
That's enough. I'm all right. Really.
No, you're not. And I'm not gonna let you die here, okay? I promised you, didn't I? By your side. Always.
What a horrible way to treat a saint.
Your mages have met their end, Cornelia. And soon, so will you. You cannot warp yourself out of this. Now let me ask you again. What became of my stepmother? Does she yet live?
No, long dead, I'm afraid. She killed the husband who kept her from the sweet little daughter she loved so dearly, only to lose her own life at that same daughter's hand.
You can't mean...
Didn't I already tell you? Your stepsister has the answers. So this body has reached its end. How pitifully frail you all are.
Done to my stepson. If you won't spill your guts, I shall gladly spill them for you.
A foolish question. She burned to ashes on the pyre of our ambitions long ago.
Let's go, dude.
Lend me your strength.
Yours for the taking, friend. Stand down!
Here for me? You must be eager to die.
Here it comes! Out of the way! Out of the way! Forgive me, Felix. Protect His Majesty. And Farkas.
Hey, I was looking for you. Didn't think I'd find you down by the river. That's an awful lot of blood on your cloak.
I thought soaking it in the water would help get it out.
I don't know. That fight went on for a while. And blood doesn't come out so easily, even if you start washing it right away. If you ask me, it's more trouble than it's worth. You have another one, right?
I do, but I'd still like to use this one if I can. Something wrong?
Oh, sorry. It's just, you reminded me of Citri, of your mother, back when we first met.
How so?
There was this one time when she was trying really hard to get some stains out of a handkerchief. She had your same quiet composure and everything, and when I asked her if she had another one, you know what she told me? She just turned and said, if I could still use this one, I'd rather not throw it away.
Well, that's not exactly the same.
Maybe not, but I still see so much of her in you. When I was first getting to know her, I never saw her laugh or cry. Just like someone else I could mention.
You know, you never really used to talk about her, but you've been doing it a lot lately. Why is that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling a little regret for dragging you into the mercenary life. You've never had a place to call home, and you don't have any friends your age. And it's been one bloody battle after another since this war broke out. If she were still alive, your life would be entirely different. You'd be with her, and things would be peaceful.
I don't regret my life here with you. I might not have a home or friends, but you've always been there for me. Living by the sword suits me just fine, and I've had no shortage of allies. So...
You're right. There's no cause for regrets. You really are just like her, though. You know that? It looks like you finally beat me. About time my luck ran out. Guess I'm overdue. The rest is up to you, kid.
I defeated the Bladebreaker. I can't believe it. You should be more careful, Felix.
What do you know of caution? I guess this is it then.
So it would seem.
Your Majesty! It's good to see you safe.
Ah, and you, Rodrigue.
Well, Felix, I trust you've been keeping a watchful eye on him.
I'm afraid there's no watching out for my recklessness.
Now you admit it. We need you in one piece.
See that, Lambert? Just like when we were their age.
We're there every step of the way.
All right. The others are waiting. We wouldn't want them to worry about...
You'll pay for this!
The steadfast and the vigorous. You would offer them as tribute? Again. You resist me?
No! Not exactly the way I thought I'd meet my end, but I can only hope that I served you well.
Don't say that. We'll get you help.
Protect them, Felix. His Majesty and the kingdom.
I swear that I will.
Lambert, Madelyn, forgive me.
Time to die.
Look out!
Now, why don't you hand the rings over to me?
Leave here at once!
No.
Here, Queen Lumera! I'll fix you up!
What's the matter?
My staff isn't helping her. She's hurt really bad. And it's her divine dragon powers. They're almost totally wiped out. A divine dragon losing their power. It's the same as losing years of their life. The thing is, there's no reason Queen Lumera should be drained like this. It doesn't make any sense.
It's simple, my young one. I gave my power unto you.
But why?
All the years you were sleeping, healing, I was transferring my divine dragon powers to you. I hoped it would be enough to bring you back to me someday. But now, it would seem that I'm completely spent.
Oh no, this is my fault. I did this.
No, my dear. You have to push those thoughts away. There is nothing a mother wouldn't do to see life return again to her beloved child.
But
This ring, it belongs to you now. The ring of the Holy Night. I had so hoped to give you the ring I made as well. But that's not possible now. Listen to me, child. Those who invaded here, I sensed the power of the fell dragon within them. You must not allow them to capture any more of their rings. Please, I beg of you, gather together all 12 rings. And when your scattered memories return to you, you must fight on with the utmost divinity. I believe in you, my child.
I understand. I'll collect the rings. I swear to you. And I'll fight. I'll do whatever you want. But please, don't leave me. Mother!
Young one. How I've longed to hear you call me that. All of those years, I held out hope. My heart is fuller than you could ever know.
It can't end like this. You were going to give me that ring once my memories came back. You promised. And there are so many things you haven't told me yet. You said that we would talk.
I did. There's still so much I wanted to say to you. Being your mother, becoming your mother has brought so much happiness into my life.
I know, and I'm happy to be your child. In this moment, here and now, and 1,000 years ago, I am. Don't go! Stay with me until I remember again. Please, Mother! I need more time!
Oh, my sweet one. Now, let's make a promise. Mother and child. We'll make it a pinky promise. I swear to you
I'll be with you always and forever. And the ring, remember, once you've rested, we will talk. You and I.
Mother. No. Please!
This simply cannot have happened. Queen Lumera.
Divine Dragon Queen. She has left us.
Mother, please wake up. You promised you'd stay by my side. You have to. You have to keep your promise.
Mother!
Here we are at last. How about we train here? You'll be the one fighting. The emblem.
What? You said that back at...
The emblem lends you their... No! These memories. I wanted to spend time with you. To chat for hours. Take long walks together. Share meals. And then...
Stop, please. It's all right. There are lots of things I wish we'd done too. We weren't able to. But that's okay. It's better than seeing you suffer like this. You can still surrender, Mother. Please. For me.
No! Lord Somron gave me more time with my child. I refuse to waste it. I won't let anyone take that away. Not even you. I waited for so long. 1,000 years of waiting. What have I... Time. It's moving too fast. I can't seem to keep up.
I'm so sorry, Mother.
That voice. Is it you, my child? It would seem that you've received my ring at last.
Mother! You're yourself again!
You remembered the promise that I made to you?
Yes. Every word you said to me before I fell asleep. You see this? I'm one of the emblems now.
My child, an emblem. I can hardly believe my own eyes. Oh, how hard you must have worked to achieve such a thing.
It was tough, but I'm glad I can show you what I've become. I just wanted to make you proud. It looks like Queen Lumera is disappearing.
The corruption is leaving her body, so now she has to go. Nothing can be done to stop it.
I'm so sorry, Mother. It seems we have to part yet again.
You're wrong. From the first moment that we connected, I have always been at your side. The years after I lost my family were a dark time. The pain of what had been taken was unbearable. But then I met you. And even though I missed you during your long slumber, I knew that you would wake up someday. We'd be together again. Knowing that, how could I ever feel lonely? You and I will never be apart again.
I feel the same. Ever since we met, I've never felt truly alone, not really. You showed me the warmth of a real connection, and that is stronger than death.
You have always been my bright, shining light. I can never thank you enough for being my child.
Thank you, Mother. Getting to be your child is my greatest happiness. If we should meet again, I want to spend more time with you. Pinky, promise me?
We will, child. I'll remember this promise we have made. And I'll remember you. The sky is so beautiful above me. Just like the one I saw the day you opened your eyes again. From now on, you must protect it all. Everything. Under this beautiful sky.
I promise.
Brother,
I'm all right. Please, don't be sad for me. Mother is where she belongs now. I know we'll meet again. It's time to go. We have to check the barrier.
I needed pawns for my plan, and territory. I spent years amassing it all. Then I attacked.
So, the war 1,000 years ago. That's what it was about?
but Papa, you weren't alone in this world. Mama loved you deeply. Your believers, your attendants, my siblings, Sepia, Chris, Marnie, Mavir, my brother and me. Everything we did was for you.
As I said, pawns, acting on my command and mine alone, meant to be used and discarded. Deaths which mean nothing.
That's why you killed them all. But what about us? You wanted us to die?
You were no different to me.
How horrible.
You can't be right about it.
I'll help.
Got a lifeline.
Then I will be denied my reunion.
We've won, Sombron.
Now I will never return home. Perhaps that is just as well. I am tired. Tired of searching in every shadow.
For the emblem of foundations?
I would look in sunless woods, gloomy caves, the shade of a dead tree. In such places, I felt my emblem again. Now, that is all over.
You chose to be alone, yet continued to look for this emblem. Why?
Perhaps I wanted someone to appreciate how far I had come, all on my own. Someone to see me, who I am. After millennia of being cast away,
I could have been that person. Or Vale, or our siblings. Why didn't you let us? Why choose to start these wars?
I need no connections. Not in your world.
Even at the end, you don't want to be a father to us. Very well. You'll be only the fell dragon. An evil that we slayed. That's how we'll remember you.
Do as you please. I have been alone for all this time. Why should my death be different? I do not need mercy or pity. I will fade in this place, apart from the one I yearn to see.
Do you remember the invocation?
What?
The invocation for the Emblem of Foundations.
I have tried. Again and again I said the words. It was no use.
Still, it couldn't hurt to try. One last time.
All right. Burn. Burn us, Emblem of Foundations. Oh, this light. Oh, at last we meet again.
Papa? I don't see anyone.
I don't either. It must be someone only he can see. An old friend. The one person he truly let in.
You and I. Let us be on our way. Once more. Engage.
Papa.
He's gone. And the ring for the Emblem of Foundations. That's gone with him. Our fight is over. Let's go home. It's time to shut this portal, once and for all.
Here are all the clips that didn't make it in. In terms of Emmeren's death, it's weird. I always thought of her as a motherly figure. I really wanted to include her death. But she's just Crom and Liza's older sister. They see her as a sister, and she actually was not the one who raised them, as they were wet-nursed. Plus, she allegedly never died, but that's a can of worms we'll open another day. I know some consider Ryoma and Xander to be father figures of sorts, but I personally just see them as just wise older brothers. Plus, Corrin has way too many dead parents already. I was excited to put Yelena's hilariously cheesy death on here, but it turns out it was a fake-out death, so I was very disappointed. Finally, regarding Ionius, I swear on my life, there was an opening narration that mentioned his passing. I searched and searched and searched throughout 3 houses and 3 hopes, but I could not find it. Heck, even checking the documents regarding the insurrection of the Seven strangely doesn't even mention him. Very odd. Fodlandian lore peeps, this is your time to shine. Heck, every person who's good at lore, Jodralians, Fateslandians, or just anyone familiar with Fire Emblem lore, as I said in the beginning, let me know if there's something I missed. Maybe I'll make a follow-up. Well, that's the end of the video. See you all next time. Peace.